that they're going to offer me $700 out of that $20,000.
Insulting. It's insulting.
Imagine I get scammed twice by the same company. Holy bro. Yotta. Alrighty guys, considering that you clicked on this video, I'm sure that you're well aware of the Yotta Bank situation. If not, I have a plethora of videos that will get you up to date, so feel free to check them out and then come right back here. But today we're going to be talking about some recent developments on what has occurred since part 3 of my Yotta Bank experience. There may be some potential good news and a possible light at the end of the tunnel, so you're going to want to stay tuned to the very end of the video to hear all of the latest updates, guys. So let's waste no time at all. Without further ado, I'm your boy Peablar, and let's jump right in. Alright, so last we left off, things were not looking good at all, bro. Essentially, Evolve rolled out the first reconciliation, and people were being offered pennies on the dollar. Well, not even pennies on the dollar. They were being offered pennies when they had tens of to hundreds of thousands of dollars in their savings accounts. So you can imagine that this was just a flat out smack in the face to all of us end users. At the same time, Yotta was flat out saying that people were being gaslit to believe that their money has vanished. And it was straight up their words, not mine, ripped directly off of their update page on their website. Additionally, on top of all of that, the CEO of Evolve quit days after the reconciliation was rolled out. So, you know, it's just sketchy all around. And after that point, things were pretty much dead for the most part. There were court hearings happening regularly, but there was virtually no movement, and it had felt really like everyone was just dragging their feet along in this process, including the people who were put in place to fight for our money. But then there was a little bit of movement, all right? About like 6 months ago, maybe even longer, to be honest. This was probably, this is a while ago. CoffeeZilla hopped on to r/Reddit, and you guys know who CoffeeZilla is. He doesn't need any introduction, but he exposes scams and stuff, guys, on the internet. So he hops onto r/Reddit, and he starts requesting some interviews from people because he, in fact, is making another Yotta Bank video. And this is super exciting. After such a long stagnant period, finally someone was going to be talking about the situation and putting it back into the spotlight. So you know I had to jump into the Discord and sign up, and then there was more and more waiting. It took a few months until finally the interviews were being scheduled, and so I booked myself a time slot, and I was hyped to be a part of something. So finally the day comes where we're doing the interview, and it was a nightmare day, guys. Firstly, my phone got like destroyed or something. The screen was all messed up. My camera was all foggy and shit. My speaker was broken, I think. I also left my AirPods at home, okay? Which, I don't know. None of this would have been a big deal because I was gonna, do my interview on my laptop, but I wound up working super late that day. And I remember I was driving down the highway looking at the email, and I thought I had actually missed the interview because the time frame on the email said that it was in Central Time. And so I was looking at it from Eastern Time. And I was like, damn, bro, I missed this shit. And then I realized, oh, wait, the interview's in like a half hour. So I started speeding down the road. I wound up pulling into a parking lot, dude, and then just setting up my phone. It was absolutely horrible quality, but I made the cut, and I did the interview.
My name is Peablar, and I put $20,000 into my Yotta savings account. After the reconciliation, Evolve has told me that they're going to offer me $700 out of that $20,000.
Insulting. It's insulting.
Shit was insane, all right? It was crazy. It was like, I felt like a madman, all right? I felt like it was an episode of 24. Like, that clock was just in the background. It was just like, doom, doom. Like, I was just like dripping sweat, dude. And so I completed the interview, and it was pretty lit. I was feeling pretty good, but at the end of the day, there was still a $20,000 hole burning in the side of my pocket, all right? So after that period, some time goes by with little to no updates at all, so I decided to hop back onto the subreddit. And around late February, Evolve had actually claimed that they found more money, and they would be rolling out a second reconciliation plan, which, hey, it's kind of exciting, but people were finding out about this when they were being accepted into the reconciliation program. So By the time I heard about it, I already realized I was not a part of this second wave. People on the subreddit were writing that they were being made whole, and well, frankly, other users were just not so happy because there was no word from Evolve. Don't get me wrong, I'm super happy for those who are finally given back what they deserve in the first place, like, come on. However, around this time on the subreddit, it was being flooded with people saying that they got their money back. And I believe that this is a loud minority, leaving the rest of us still waiting for more. Around the same time period, everyone started requesting brokerage statements from Evolve and Synapse. These statements were a paper trail of sorts as to where the funds went to, what banks they were in and removed from, all like pretty much just like everything regarding this whole partner program. Infamously, a lot of people, including myself, were not given statements for the final month leading up to the accounts being frozen. My statements actually ended in March. That was the last statement I got from that year. And the statement claimed that my money was sent off to some bank called Webster Bank. So I figured let's give them a call and maybe they can help me out, send me some paperwork, potentially show me a statement saying that the money was sent back out to Evolve or Synapse, whatever it may be. I just wanted to get some more information. So I gave him a call, and when I did call, I spoke to multiple people until ultimately I got transferred over to the legal department. The representative I was speaking with was genuinely curious and interested in the situation, and he wanted me to give him the rundown on everything. He was super enthusiastic about it. He wanted to know all the information. He was an awesome guy. Shout out to you, bro. I forget your name, honestly, but I got your email, dude. However, after discussing all this, to my surprise, he had no idea of any type of partner program or even who Synapse or Evolve were as an entity. I didn't want to be rude to him at this point, but after filling him in with the situation, I asked if I could forward him all my statements and everything via email, and maybe he could push it forward to somebody who would have knowledge of the program. And I sent all that out. It's been a few months now, and I still have yet to hear back. So yet another brick wall. I genuinely don't think I'll ever see another cent of my money, to be quite honest at this point. And I felt pretty hopeless, but I mean, hopeless is a strong word, honestly. Like, it didn't even really faze me because I already knew I wasn't getting my money back whatsoever. So, whatever, dude. All of the brokerage statements were coming from Synapse directly. So, I decided to reach out to Evolve and see if they could send me some sort of statement, maybe for that missing month. And a month later, they wound up sending me this big old letter, and I was super excited because I completely forgot I requested anything, and I opened it up and it's just a bunch of transaction history. Like, it's just like me ordering Taco Bell. It's not anything relevant to this. So thanks a lot, Evolve. So quite a bit of time passed since I was interviewed by CoffeeZilla, and I was questioning if this video is even going to come out in the first place. I was speculating like maybe he's waiting for something new to happen, maybe he's investigating the second reconciliation further. But then on March 31st, Coffee finally releases his video titled "The Bank That Won't Let You Withdraw." And the video overall was great. It really broke down the situation in a very digestible manner. And if you want to learn more about the situation, I definitely consider going and checking out his video. Coffee unveils previously hidden emails between Evolve and Synapse and brings forward the proposition that Evolve may have been playing around with the agreement made between Synapse and Evolve in regards to fees and such. Apparently, Evolve was allegedly charging Synapse for transaction fees that Synapse previously thought they had negotiated would not be in place. And over time, these fees would amount to millions of dollars. Additionally, Coffee puts forward that Evolve has a reserve of millions of dollars, which were set aside specifically to repay customers if something were to go awry.
Are we talking about the $35 million Evolve holds in reserve to be used as necessary? Like, yeah, that'd be great, but we haven't seen it.
However, Evolve has never really mentioned this reserve at all, and it's unknown whether or not they have even touched it to this day. Coffee dropping this video was huge because it put a bunch of fresh eyes on the topic. Even in his video, he said that he was debating posting it because there was really no resolution at the end of the story.
I don't know how to close it in a way that's not depressing. Like, honestly, I considered scrapping this video many times because there's not a great resolution here. It's just you can explain that something very deep has gone wrong, but what else? I mean, I can't tell you that the funds are magically going to appear.
However, I'm sure the impact of his video was much greater than he would even realize, as we're going to discuss a little bit later. Shortly after this video dropped, the final court hearing was taking place, and that was it. There was apparently going to be no more court hearings after this. Things were not looking good. I unfortunately was at work during this hearing, but I wish I was able to join because I had some questions of my own. I'm not sure if they were asked, but it seems like all these partner banks have literally no idea that they're a part of this. I saw multiple Reddit threads where people called these banks and they had no clue about any partner program whatsoever. Additionally, why are the statements from the last month missing? Even if they were incorrectly filled out, if they had improper information, they should be there. Where are they? But essentially that was that, and nothing really came of it. Synapse concluded claiming that essentially they were worth nothing and they had no assets in this bankruptcy claim. After hearing this, I assumed that, this is it. It's all over. End of the story. But recently, things have been revving up a bit. And this is the light at the end of the tunnel, guys. Potentially. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. Firstly, Senator Elizabeth Warren has stepped in, sending a letter to Governor Bowman demanding that Evolve is further investigated and examined. Additionally, she is calling for the FDIC to intervene in this situation. If the FDIC were forced to pay out, that would be such a crazy turn of events. I really hope that winds up happening, bro. That would just seal the deal on all this. We'd get our money back and it would be lit, right? But that's not all, folks. Evolve is in even more hot water because apparently a large real estate investing company has been tied up in all of this. So apparently this company Fundrise, which coincidentally enough, I almost started investing with back in the day. Thank God I didn't. But apparently this company Fundrise claims that Evolve has all of their end users' funds, leaving them inaccessible to any of the end users. Very similar to this Yotta situation. So yeah, like I said, I almost invested with these guys back in the day. Here's a screenshot from my notes app because as soon as I was reading this article and I saw the name Fundrise, I was like, I know this company. I hopped into my notes app and sure enough, here's a screenshot in my notes app reminding me to look into them. I don't remember exactly when this was from. You can see that in the screenshot, I had an Android, which I haven't had an Android in years. So it's been a while, but apparently they were on my radar. Thank God I never invested in them. Imagine I get scammed twice by the same company. Holy bro. But yeah, Fundrise, aka Fund That Flip, apparently had been dealing with Synapse for a while, and they had their money tied up in the partner program. Apparently, they claim that they believe the money is being held at Evolve, and they are seeking to request all relevant paperwork regarding this and essentially find those funds to fund that flip. You know what I mean? So that's where we're left off with this whole mess of a situation. At the end of the day, Evolve seems super sketchy. They are not working with other companies or government entities in order to be fully transparent, and quite frankly, I don't with that. It seems like whenever the situation gets pretty dark, however, like right before it goes pitch black, there's another light at the end of the tunnel. So keep your head up, guys, and let's get our money back. But what do you make of all this? Do you think that Evolve has our funds at the end of the day? Do you think Elizabeth Warren may be able to help us? And did you watch the CoffeeZilla video? Comment down below. Are you subscribed to Peablar TV too? No, dude? Well, subscribe because I post weekly internet news videos, slightly different from today's videos. This was a little bit more of an information heavy video for my Yotta people. You know who you are, but I think that you'll still like the channel, so hit subscribe and become a part of the Peablar army. But with that being said, guys, that's gonna do it for me. I am your boy Peablar. It's been real, and until next time, guys, be well and peace.